Hi creative friends, this is Soraya and thank you so much for being here. So I allowed this to completely dry, and before I turned the camera on, I was looking at these two pieces and they look very similar, probably a lot more than I would want, but I'm thinking because I used the black for the background in both of these, and because I guess it's kind of like a fuchsia pinkish color, dominates so much of both the pieces. They do look very, very similar. Let me just move some of this stuff out of the way here. And it's not a big deal because I'm not going to be, doing anything with these pieces. I might cut them out. I might use them as collage. I might use them as cutout figures that I then go and hot glue into another journal and completely change their whole kind of, the way they look now. So I'm not worried about that. Basically, when I work like this, I am mining for ideas. So while I work on this piece, I'm just going to talk about our ideas and where we get them from, etc., etc. So as creatives, and especially with mixed media, a lot of times it's not like we are going out and doing a plein air landscape, for instance, where you're just like painting what's in front of you, or like you're setting up a still life and you're replicating what you're seeing. A lot of times when we are working in our art journals, or like say the way I'm working right now, um, we are making stuff up in our head. Like that's what I'm doing. I didn't look at any kind of a photograph or a reference photo, a book. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just like making something up from nothing. And you know, um, where do we get our ideas from when we're doing that, when we're doing something like that? Well, ideas are everywhere, honestly, you guys. I have made journals from so many different sources, like a line in a book, a poem, me standing in front of a painting and having an experience. We can get our ideas from literally anywhere if we are open to it, if we are in the mindset that anything is fodder. And just because we get an idea, it does not mean that we have to replicate things as is. A lot of times I might get an idea for something, but by the time it is in its completed stage, it might not bear any resemblance to its original idea, but it's that seed, it's that spark. And right now, when I'm talking right now, I'm just pretty much speaking from my heart. I'm not like, I don't have any notes or anything. Like sometimes I will have notes pinned up on my window in front of me, but right now I'm just speaking from my experience. And a lot of times, like when we're seeking inspiration, in my experience, it's not so much that we are seeking inspiration as much as we are seeking a kind of like permission from ourselves, not from the outside world, but just permission from ourselves to create what we want to create. Because I've made art journals that are just like so far off from what the seed of inspiration was that you couldn't even like put it together. And then sometimes I've made art journals that are just simply fun or just learning. Like my color art journal is more, I mean, you're gonna learn no matter what you do. That's what I find. But my color journal was just like, oh, I'm learning about color and different palettes and, how to strengthen this and that and whatever. And then, other journals are based on a more deeper inquiry of something. Anyways, whatever you are working on, just give yourself permission to let it morph into whatever it wants to be. And this is it goes back to, I think, something Elizabeth Gilbert said in one of her interviews or TED Talks or books or whatever, is a lot of times we are just wanting permission to create. And we don't need permission. We just need to give ourselves that permission. We're not going to get that permission from the outside world. So, you know, when I'm working like this, I am looking for ideas that I can take with me and create new pieces of work with it. So say for instance, like, you know, I really love this here. Now, in an abstract symbolic way, in an archetypal way, it could represent so many different things to me. But even in an art element way, it is interesting. It could be like a little piece of hair jewelry. It could be this, that, whatever. You know, so I am looking for things like that that I can take into other works of art, you know, other journals. And that's why I'm working like this. So I'm not really worried or focused on the end product, even for like this particular piece. I'm really not. Like I love this here, this whole situation. I don't know what it is, but it really appeals to me. Like all of this, like this circular stuff going on. It could be you know, hair jewelry, but like symbolically, I'm thinking of all the different things it could mean. And yeah, so I'm gonna try to replicate this. I really am loving this piece over here. And even the dress part, I'm loving that. So that's why I work in this way. And if I could, I'm not musically inclined at all. I love music, but I don't have, I'm not inclined that way. But to me, you know, when I'm working like this, or when I'm working really fast and I film a time lapse, I kind of in my mind, I imagine like it would be somebody practicing scales, you know, when they play an instrument and then they're just focused on practicing their scales. That's kind of what I look at me working like this. I'm mining for ideas. I'm strengthening my visual language, etc., etc. And so I don't think I'm gonna make another video of this, you guys. It's not 100% done. I have to wait for this to dry before I go in with my marker and you know, just kind of do some finer kind of points on the eyes and etc., etc. But I will show you the finished piece. Like when I do another video, I'll say, oh, this is the finished piece that I did, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it is really interesting, like where we get our ideas from. And for me, ideas are everywhere. It's simply being open to them and giving ourselves permission to not only use those ideas, but then to allow them to take whatever form they are going to take, to morph. We might take some, leave some, you know, modify it, and just giving ourselves a permission to just get inspiration from everywhere. And one of the reasons I love working in multiples is because it allows me to not be so emotionally invested in any one piece. So I have more freedom to take risks. I have more freedom to just do whatever I want to do, like without thinking about it. And then I can get like beautiful things happening, like say in our hair and all of this stuff in the dress. I love all that. So yeah, you know, working in this way is really it's really a boon to my creativity. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna let this dry. I'm not gonna make another video. It's almost done. I'm just gonna go in and just, you know, do the eyes, but I can't go in with my marker because all of this is wet. So anyways, you guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this series, and I hope that it has inspired you to work in multiples. It's really an amazing way to work. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.